Итак, здравствуйте, дорогие подписчики и зрители канала. Сегодня мы с вами играем в Genshin Impact. Наша сегодняшняя... Чё? Противники с посохом? Ну давай. Сегодня мы будем проходить сюжетку, но сначала сходим на ивент. С вашего позволения. Жопка. Ивент. Надо... Противники с посохами. Ну давайте посмотрим, скорее всего, просто какие-то эти... Шамачорли. Угу. Сначала их отфоткаем. Проходим ежедневку и сразу можно со спокойной совестью отправляться дальше по сюжету. Пока что все слишком разговорно. Опять же, я говорю, в последнее время сюжет Геншина превращается просто в книгу, в которой ничего не происходит. Это не похоже на противников с посохами. У нас 0 гемов. В смысле 0. Там было ровно 160, и я крутнул, да? Ладно, выживем. I see everything. Я вижу все. Потому что я Урина. Марина. А, нет, она не Урина. Урину мы будем пытаться убивать. Так, ребят, противники с посохами. Ты без посоха, чувак. На. Так. У вас есть посохи, чуваки? Подожди, давай попробуем чистый раз прикол. Нет. Чисто обычный по центре. Так. Думаю, на это, в принципе, время-то не стоит тратить, да? Как же классно за нее собирать растения. Ух ты, нихера тут растений. Очень приятно собирать растения. Обучение. Целый 1 гем, господи, что я без него делал? Противники говорить с посохами, да? Интересно, это только в регионе Фонтейна надо сделать, да? Ну, как я понимаю. Сложновато. Чё так сложно? Противники... Вы без посоха, чуваки. Я с вами даже общаться не хочу. Мне нужны хули-чурли. А точнее, их шаманы. Где-то они должны быть, да? Ага, это считается? Лопата считается посохом? Нет, лопата это не посох. Открытие века. Лопата, ребята, это не посох. Даже не думайте. Считать лопату посохом. О, телепорт заодно откроем, смотри. Не, смотри, тут нету. Они будто специально убрали всех шамачурлов. Свет копается. А это что за пузик такой? Пирать, он еще и жирный. В смысле выходит. Он нахера нужен? Мясо? А, жемчужина. Это, наверное, для кого-то собирать надо, для прокачки. Ага, так я не вижу этих шмачуров. Давайте побегаем по другим местам. Может быть, там есть эти товарищи. Но целых 10 штук — это перебор. По крайней мере, мне так кажется. Птички. Птички. Ух, твою мать, а это кто? Страшные существа вообще. Какой-то хоррор пошел уже, а не Геншин. Ой, твою мать, какой-то экскаватор. Так. Не, давайте все-таки пойдем в Манштады. Манштад. Может быть там? Может быть здесь? Может быть тут найдется? Сейчас попробуем, может быть, реально сфоткать можно везде. Ну, не только в этом. Фонтейн. Вон, один, смотри. Типа далеко слишком? Да. Работает. Ну, тут один. Не будем ему мешать. Поэтому лучше всего все такое фоткать в Манштате. Манштате. Ага, мужик стоит, смотри. Один, интересно. Угу. Вот здесь их много должно быть. В этом ущелье они типа живут. Белочка. Ну, что-то я не вижу. Что-то я не вижу. Я думал, хулю-чулю. Что-то не густо. Уже, по-моему, раньше больше было, нет? Бля, они все больше не рисуются. Ладно, погнали на ежедневке, может быть, там найдет кто-нибудь. Плюэ. Почему-то на телефоне эта игра работает стабильнее, но у меня телепорт происходит буквально за 2 секунды, а здесь ждешь как дурачок. Знамение. Найди знамение. Бегают, конечно, эти лольки угарно. Угу. Просто гоняют по всему городу, а? Угу. Короче, все четко. Мы нашли нужный знак. Что, серьезно? Я же раньше проходил этот квест, и мне за него ничего не давали. Без херни. Где ты? Съел, да? Съел ублюдок, да? Так, одолеть всех врагов. Будем надеяться, что там будут щамачурлы. А, монстров. Может быть, там даже не живые, ну, в смысле, неразумные будут. О, нет, разумные. Дайте мне шамачурлика. Есть шамачурла? В смысле? Ты сзади был? Придурок. Нету шамачурлю. Шарчурла. С тобой что делать я буду? О. Они еще встали так? Найс. Так, 3 есть. Осталось 7. Нажимайся.
Kamisato art. Suiyu. Inazuma shines eternal.
Ad Astra. Thank you for coming.
Луна. Когда-нибудь пригодится. Когда буду уходить в данжи, сейчас пока времени на это нет. Так. «30 кемов за квест, вы чё? Где еще может быть хулючурлы? Вообще написано враги с посохом, но я знаю только... А, еще есть фатуя. Снайперы! У них тоже посох. По-моему, это посох. Тут шлаймы. Хер ты кого найдешь. Ладно, сейчас на этом телепорте посмотрим. Если не будет, я пойду в яблочки. Груши, вернее. Или что это? Опа, хулючур. Меня бесит, что он по одной штуке они обычно стоят. Типа. Оля Чарлоу. И все. Там обычная. Еще 6. Так, Люэ здесь, да? Да. Лишний шаг сделал. С арбалетами. В Эхере из враги с посохами. Извиняюсь. Болею, простите. Поэтому кашляю. Так, а здесь нет посохов. Додики. А слушайте, а тот с ружьем, да, не с посохом? Там два вида получается их. С ружьем и с посохом. Ну-ка, четвертый бегу. Нет, это ружье. Там, которые с посохом, они щит ставят. Эти с арбалетами стоят. Где найти врагов с посохами? Где? А вот хрен знает где. Давайте здесь посмотрим, суммеру посмотрим, как вариант. Сейчас только окно открою, чтобы не было душно. И футболку себе найду. Вот это... Вот это я понимаю свежесть. Вот это свежесть. По-другому не скажешь. Так. Так мрачновато, да? Как же сложно найти врага с посохом. Почему они не искали с арбалетом, там, не знаю, с чем угодно, но... Врагов с посохом, там, 2 штуки на карту, по-моему. Если не меньше, да? Где? Шумачура где? Их через специально с карту брали? Максимально дебильное задание. Я уже думаю пойти по основному квесту и забить. Пойдем. Потом допрохожу. Угу. Что добраться надо, смотри. Пешком бежать плохо. А это где находится под водой? Музыка, кстати, похожа на какой-то балет-щелкунчик. Что-то есть общее, да? Вау, красота. Совсем другое настроение у этого города. Такой величественный. Вау.
What a place to hold a performance! No wonder Linny and Lynette were looking forward to it. Huh. Looks like there's a lot of people standing around the fountain up ahead.
Oh, Archon, please bless us with a bright and healthy child. We pray.
I don't know why you always feel the need to ask so much. I'll be happy as long as our child is healthy and lives a peaceful life.
I guess if they're our kid, then there's no doubt they'll turn out smart.
Maybe this is one of the customs in Fontaine. There sure are a lot of couples here.
Vache.
What's wrong?
Vache.
Ваша?
Vache.
Ваша? Это кто такой Ваша-то? Чела глючит жестко.
Paimon didn't say anything. Are you hearing
А кто это говорил?
Welcome to the Fountain of Lucine. All the water flowing through Fontaine converges here. It's customary for newlyweds to come here and wish for children.
Lynette, you scared Paimon. When did you get here?
Lenny asked me to wait here for you, remember?
Right.
Только что мне показалось, что я слышу тихий голос.
What do you mean? There are a lot of people here right now.
Голос исходил из фонтана.
Hey, you're not trying to scare Paimon, are you? Besides, it's the middle of the day. It's not the time for eerie things.
I see. I might be able to tell you something that could help explain the voice you heard. In fact, you might not be imagining things at all. I suspect that what you heard is a result of your hypersensitivity to the hydro element. Others in my family have had similar experiences.
It's because of his sensitivity to the hydro element? But what would hearing a voice have to do with elemental power?
When do you cry, Paimon?
Wait, what? What does that have to do with anything?
Just answer me. When do you cry?
when Paimon's really sad? Oh, and when Paimon's super happy. Oh, and also when Paimon's really, really scared.
Then you should understand that tears contain your most intense emotions. Like I just mentioned, the Fountain of Lucine is where all the flowing water in Fontaine converges. Even the tears that fall to the ground will eventually gather here. So maybe what you heard was the intense emotion coming from someone's tears.
So, what did the voice say?
Кажется, звал кого-то по имени.
Huh. If you were hearing their emotions, then Paimon wonders what happened to them.
Rather than worrying about them, we should worry about my brother first. Don't let that calm look of his fool you. He tends to get pretty nervous just before a performance. So chatting with Linny might help him relax a little before he goes on stage.
Oh, right. That makes sense. Let's go in and see Linny.
Местное дерево. Печать гидра. Даже гемы не дает. Хотя, может, потом крылки появятся. Как на других деревьях, да?
Traveler and Paimon, good to see you. I knew you two would come.
Are you kidding? We wouldn't miss it for the world. We've been looking forward to it.
I can tell, judging by how early you've arrived. But you're actually right on time. The audience still hasn't started entering the venue yet, which means now is the perfect chance for us to take you to the best seats in the house. Wait just a moment. I'll fetch the tickets. The Opera House has assigned seating, so you always have to make reservations. I've already reserved your seats, and here are your tickets.
Ooh, front row seats. Thanks, Linny.
Don't mention it. There's no need to keep thanking me.
Hey, Linny! Could you come over here and take a look at this?
Oh, I'll be right there. Seems there's an issue with the stage props over there. That's Cal, my assistant, calling me. I'll go lend him a hand.
Да, конечно.
Yeah, we'll just go to our seats. You go ahead, Linny.
Это суд местный. И театр одновременно, кайф.
Oh, these should be our seats. Come on, let's sit down. Hey, traveler. Maybe we should strike up a conversation with the person next to us. Since we're sitting
Обычно ведь
together,
ты
and
этим
the
у нас
rest of the
занимаешься,
place is
нет?
practically empty still. Ah, you little... Of course you put this on Paimon.
Excuse me, I did not realize you felt awkward. I am terribly sorry. I would be perfectly happy to chat with you if that is what you would like.
Oh, So you heard all of that, did ya? Boy, you sure have good ears. Paimon thought she was keeping her voice down. Wait, that's not it, Paimon's. Sorry. Paimon's the one who was being rude, talking under her breath like that. So, let's talk, but,
Ситуация становится
what should
все
we
более
talk
неудобной.
about? Oh, Paimon's got it. You're also here early and sitting in the front. Are you a friend of Linny's too?
A friend, you say? Well, if Mr. Linny would like to be my friend, I would be more than happy to reciprocate.
Oh, so you're not friends with Linny then? Oh, this is getting more awkward by the second. Paimon nearly forgot to make her introduction. Nice to meet you. Paimon is Paimon, and this is the Traveler. We just arrived in Vaudain.
It is an honor to meet you two. I have heard of your deeds across Teyvat. And as required by proper etiquette, I will also introduce myself. I am...
Oh, Monsieur Nervillet, what an honor it is to have you here to see my show.
Ah, Mr. Linny. I should say it is in fact an honor for me to see your performance in person.
Wait, Nervillet? Could he be...
Кто он?
I saw you all chatting just now, but it seems you still don't know who Monsieur Nervillet is. Allow me to introduce you to Fontaine's Chief Justice. That seat is always reserved for him. It wouldn't be too much to say that he's the symbol of justice and honesty here in Fontaine.
Whoa! Sorry for being so rude just now. Paimon had no idea you were such an important person.
No offense taken. Being Chief Justice is merely what I do for work.
5 минут.
Nearly every person has their usual reserved seat, so I'm not so special, really. And by the way, I should probably let you know, even though I would prefer not to, there's someone sitting up there in the VIP seats that has been striking a pose for quite a while now. I believe she is trying to give you a most elegant and impressive first impression. So I think you should take notice of her sooner rather than later, otherwise she may become flustered.
Huh? Oh, it's Farina, the Hydro Archon. Huh. She sure has a smug and satisfied look on her face. Guess she has no idea that you saw right through her act.
Very good. That is for the best. No need to pay her any more attention. We may now enjoy the show.
Huh? So is this what things are like between the Chief Justice and the Hydro Archon?
All right, please wait just a moment longer. I've pretty much finished my preparations, and the performance will start as soon as the audience has made their way to their seats.
Yay! The show's finally about to start! Paimon can hardly wait! Paimon's never seen a real live magic show before! Oh! They're dimming the lights! The show must be starting! Sorry. Paimon will try to stay quiet.
Welcome, one and all, to the Opera Epiclese. I am the star of today's show, Linny. And over here is my sister, Lynette, who will be working as my wonderful assistant. Please, let's give her a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone.
I know she may seem to be a little sleepy right now, but that's just a sign that she's nervous.
Whatever.
Now, some of you may be thinking, two vision holders who can freely manipulate elemental powers performing magic is not true magic at all. So, I would like to take a moment to assure you that elemental powers will have nothing to do with what you will witness on the stage today. Both Lynette and myself have removed our visions for the show. That way, even the gods won't be able to help us.
Oh, good point. That's what makes the show real magic.
Now, without further ado, let the show begin. Lynette will now exit the stage to make some preparations. I know you might miss her, but don't worry, she'll be coming right back on stage momentarily. Perhaps in an unexpected way. I'm sure she'll be stealing the spotlight soon enough. Oh, and before I forget, there's one more thing I should say. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. A magician's greatest skill is making things disappear or appear. The possibilities are endless. But this isn't what you came for. These little tricks, you've seen them all before. So it's time for something truly extraordinary, don't you think? This one's a little tricky. Using this water tank, I shall make my sister vanish completely, right before your very eyes. It's actually quite simple. She'll just turn into air bubbles and float right out of the top. Oh no! I told them to check all the props carefully. With the lid on, even air can't escape. An amateur magician would be getting very nervous right around now. Luckily, it's me on stage, so let me show you what a true virtuoso can do. Lynette, are you still there? Don't go too far. We don't want to use up all our magic.
Hi, I'm back.
Uh-huh.
Whoa! What in the world just happened? How did he do that? Harlan didn't see him do anything. Wasn't Lynette inside the water tank?
Привет.
How did she disappear and then reappear out of nowhere?
Решил ко мне зайти подглядеть, да? Так, неудивительно, что он знаменитый маг-иллюзионист. Кстати, это была копия сцены из фильма «Престиж» с Хью Джекманом.
If we could see easily through his tricks, then that would mean that his skills are still lacking. To appreciate magic, you should focus on the show happening on stage, rather
И
than
этот чел
getting
на деда
caught up
похож.
trying to see that which has been intentionally
Или подписывайся на канал, ставь лайки, будем вместе тусоваться. Сейчас я, правда, играю на расслабоне перед работой, знаешь, чисто чтоб
Thank you, everyone. I'm glad you enjoyed that performance.
сюжетку посмотреть.
But our magical journey has only just
Это реально
begun.
престиж, чувак.
I've prepared even more astonishing surprises for everyone here. The magic of transformation and disappearance can go far
сам как
beyond
поживаешь?
what you've just seen. I'm sure many of you are thinking that escaping the water tank was impressive enough. But Lynette is still my assistant after all. In which case, I have ample time to make all necessary preparations. So, for my next trick, I will require the participation of one lucky audience member. Please, if my assistants could bring out the magical boxes now... There are 2 boxes and only 2 boxes. One is here and one is there in the aisle among the audience.
Блин, интрига. Не думал, что будет так интересно. Шикарно, с учебы устал и решил стримы по Геншину посмотреть. Ты попался. Ох, я попался. Ничего, у меня будут еще потом другие стримы. Ну, у меня и так есть другие стримы. Видео. И планируется музыкальное видео, поэтому оставайся. Будет весело. Наверное. Ну, по крайней мере, мне. Он и правда использует волшебство? Уверен, мы сможем разгадать секрет. Но у них как бы глаза бога есть, может быть, они магию свою используют. Они живут в мире магии и удивляются, что чел может обладать магией, твою мать. Самому до Геншина руки не доходят, к сожалению. А что-то в последнее время у меня тоже еле выбиваю время поснимать. На работе график дебильный. А ты учишься сейчас в институте или в школе? И вау, это магия, блин. Все 100 часов игры была магия. Вся игра про магию. И они такие, чё, это магия? Школа. Прикольно. На самом деле, самое лучшее время в жизни, ну не в жизни вообще, это в институте. А в школе самое жопное. Так что поступай обязательно куда-нибудь.
Like this. 60, 59, 58. Just keep counting down. You can go a little faster or slower if you like. I won't be able to see anything in the pitch black box, so I'll be relying on your voices to know when time is up. Oh, and no tricks now. If you quickly count from 60 in just 30 seconds, then I'll be in a tough spot.
Ooh! Paimon kinda wants to count faster after hearing him say that.
Считать будем хором, так что ничего не выйдет.
No, that won't do. I can see it in your eyes. You still can't be trusted. Let's practice together.
На педиатра? Ты чел красавчик. На самом деле, сейчас мало кто идет на врачей. Давай вместе. 59, 58. Че так много считать-то, а? И ты чё, математик, что ли? Вот. На врача еще долго очень учиться, поэтому... Вообще респект тебе. Надеюсь, ты будешь хорошим врачом. Почему ты не читаешь, ублюдок? Да мне похер. Да мне похер, я про себя читаю. Он деда напоминает, да, сильно? По характеру. Мало идут, потому что там еще половину жизни учишься. Да, я об этом уже сказал, да. Половину жизни учишься. И на самом деле важно найти для себя частную клинику, а желательно самому ее открыть. Если есть средства. Потому что работать в государственной поликлинике — это все равно, что пойти работать дворником, понимаешь? Которые зарабатывают больше, чем наши врачи государственные. Да, это вообще дед. Это дед просто с другими волосами. Думаю, это часть шоу. Бум. Он доносился со сцены. По-моему, он такой голос писклявый, капец, аж по ушам бьет. Я раньше, когда проходил, я это делал без наушников, но сейчас это прям слышится. Отец деда. Получается, это прадед. Теперь у него официальная кличка прадед. Грэнд-па. Да мне кажется, что это местный дракон. Они, скорее всего, все похожи. Водяной дракон. Еще 20 секунд, слышишь? Такие они долгие, да? Считать от 50. Прошу у всех прощения. Такой, там пацан в колготках, блин. Такой, прошу у всех прощения. О, смотрим мультик. Почти готово.
Swapping two people is harder work than you might think. Even a master magician like me can't guarantee I'll get it right the first time. Hey, wait! Is this the back one? I can't tell. They both look the same inside. Huh? No, that's not it. I'll try again. 7! Hey, slow down! Honestly! 5! 4! 3!
Ты чё?
Whoops! That doesn't count!
0!
Ta-da!
Чё? Это по плану все? Они убили его? Сейчас досмотрим, я отвечу. Ребят, вы чё? Что? Вот реально, на таком представлении ты не угадаешь, часть шоу ты или нет.
What happened?
Помню, у меня сюжетка с дедом забаговалась, и он на ровном месте развернулся и пошел в сторону Манштата. У меня было выражение лица такое, типа... Ты куда? Ну, дед устал от своего этого Китая. Решил развеяться в свободном городе. Богиня справедливости. Отшлепать его. Не очень беспокоиться. Мы с этим разберемся. Такой мачо, я бы ему дал. Ну, в смысле, подружился бы с ним. Здоровье погибшим. Коул. Блин, ребят, я первый раз вижу, чтобы в Геншине показывали полноценную смерть и трупа. Ну, типа, это китайская игра, в Китае нельзя показывать трупы. Да и для детей, нет? Слушайте, а может быть это реально трюк? Ну, в смысле, чел это подставной, и он потом окажется главным злодеем. Дело связано с исчезновениями девушек. Тело об исчезновении? Что? То самое дело, о котором говорила Шарлотта. На глазах публики Архонта Верховного Судьи.
Really? Using such a shallow and obvious mystery as his finale.
Кстати, да, слушай, а может быть в Китае переделали? Потому что я часто такое видел. Например, в Доте 2, ты знаешь, да, такую игру Дота 2, она для таких дедов, как я. Вот, а там, например, большинство персонажей выглядит по-другому. Мне даже интересно, как выглядит Пугна. Ну, там персонаж такой скелет. Зеленый. Вот я хочу вот эту девчонку выбить. У меня 77 круток. То есть уже есть шанс. Урина Марина. Странно, что это случилось во время шоу.
Save discussion for a later time, please. Lady Farina, may I assume that your comments just now constitute an accusation against Mr. Linney and his associates, and that you are pressing charges?
I just think that he... Well, I think it might be a little early to talk about formally pressing charges.
But what Lady Farina said just now makes perfect sense. Looks like she's gonna personally
У меня
deliver
3 леги.
justice.
Через каждые 10
Kidnapping
круток
and
было.
murder carried out under the
Охереть.
cover of a magic
А у
show.
меня, слышу, у меня всегда на 90-й
Said it all.
падает. Ну, типа, вообще я супер удачливый чел.
Of course, my dear people.
Ну, конечно, весело. Я бы так тоже хотел. Я бы сейчас выбил вот эту деваху и этого байджу, который зеленый такой лечит змеей своей кожаной. Я верю Линни. Но это был не совсем поединок так-то.
But with Linny's help, our little duel ended in a draw. But draws really are the most boring possible outcome. So, no more draws. Between the two of us, there must be a clear winner and
Так, и с кем я буду драться?
And what better place to hold such a riveting
У
showdown
меня была
and
тактика,
decide the
что
true
я
victor
кручу
than here, on the
десятку
grandest of
и забрасываю
stages,
Геншин на
the
2-3 месяца,
opera
потом снова
epiclese.
кручу десятку. Вот ты смотри, ты забрасываешь Геншина, потом где эту десятку берешь? На нее уже играть месяц надо, не?
Charges have now been pressed, and as such, a trial is in order. Well, traveler, seems Lady Farina has set you in her sights. But putting her dramatic rhetoric aside for a moment, I would like to ask you,
Я хотел бы
are you willing
спросить.
to act as Mr. Linney's attorney and defend him in this case?
Да, да, без проблем.
Very well. The trial will be held a day from now in the Opera House.
А, подарки
Both
от
sides may
разраба.
investigate the
Кстати,
scene
да,
to build their
справедливо.
cases and search for the truth. Linney and his troop are all potential suspects and shall remain within the Opera House. The audience may begin
Да,
to
сюжет
leave in
вот
an
как раз
orderly
таки, да.
fashion once they have been cleared by the guards.
Интригующий.
Isn't that long? Let's see what kind of case this big shot outlander can build.
Ой,
in
эти
such a
делики,
short
от них
amount
можно
of
с ума
time.
сойти. Сейчас хотя бы по одной крутке дают за главу сюжета. Вот я сейчас надеюсь, я наивно надеюсь, что на следующей крутке у меня выпадет Урина это, Марина. Лини, твою мать.
Sorry about everything that happened just now. Were you frightened?
Спокойно могу за час круток 10-15 накопить. А, ну классно. Я особо это.
Yeah,
Не
I'm a little
фармлю.
shaken up myself.
Бедный Коул.
How could this happen? And poor Cal. I know you already claimed that you would defend me, but now it's just us talking. Tell me, do you think I could
Считаете ли вы
possibly
меня
be the
убийцей?
murderer?
Сложно сказать, ублюдок.
I understand. Even I'm not sure what
На самом
happened,
деле,
so I can
никого
only
нельзя
imagine how
исключать.
difficult it is for you to grasp the situation. I'm sure everyone sees me as the biggest suspect at this point.
Конечно, главный подозреваемый. У тебя, чел, у тебя колготки, чел. Ты во всем виноват.
Such that all that's left is confusion. I don't know whether what happened there on the stage was purely an accident or not. And I don't know why poor Cal was in the box. As for how that girl chosen from the audience could suddenly disappear, I'm afraid I don't have any answers either. If someone tampered with my performance, then we
Было
need
бы
to figure out
хорошо
what they did.
выбить Невелетта,
Even a skilled and knowledgeable
если
magician like
наяривать
myself
на
could pull all
цифры,
that off in
потому
just
что его
1
ульта
minute.
это просто нечто. У него нечто не ульта, а это задержанная атака. Где он, ты имеешь в виду, струю пускает? Да, происшествие и правда странное.
Which is precisely why we need to investigate. As this book says, the impossible could not have happened. Whatever happened must have been that which
О,
is
божечки.
possible.
Где ты взяла эти очки?
Paimon bought them when we were reading at the bookshop in the city earlier. Pretty cool, huh? own savings to buy them. It wasn't from our travel funds.
I think they look cute on you, Paimon.
You have good taste, Lynette.
That's the right attitude. Feeling depressed isn't going to help me now. I need to get back to my normal self. But with the guards watching our every move, it's going to be especially difficult for Lynette and I to prove our own innocence. Good thing you agreed to be our attorneys. Thanks for that. We'll be counting on you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Я к такой работе привык. Каменщик, работаю 3 дня.
Oh, since we're going to start investigating, Paimon has a question first. Where did Lynette go during the performance?
Ah, well, I'm afraid that would involve some of our essential trade secrets as magicians.
The secrets behind our magic are past saving, Linny.
I suppose you're right. The truth behind our tricks is going to be important evidence that will be weighted during the trial. 'Tis truly a pity. As a magician, our magic show is a work of art. We've poured countless hours and spared no effort in perfecting
Да,
it.
Paimon в очках краш.
But if
Жду
revealing
ее
our
на
secrets
этот,
will help you
Rules
uncover the
34.
truth behind what
Ну там,
happened,
где эти
then it will be well worth it.
эротические всякие выкладывают.
We
Арты.
should go somewhere else if we're going to discuss our magic tricks. We'll go speak with the guards, and in the meantime, you can go investigate the
Так,
stage
прикол
and the
в
seating
том, что у
areas.
меня 50 РП, я до сих пор на Инадзуме. Ну там довольно быстро поднимается до Инадзумы. Репутация. Чё?
Hello, officer.
Приветик,
How's the
офицер.
investigation going?
Ты на моче стоишь, чувак. Мы представители Линни и Минет.
Ah, I see. You must be the
Эскимон.
traveler that Lady Farina mentioned. Listen,
Ну,
I'll
какого
be
босса не можешь
perfectly
пройти?
honest with you. I'd avoid getting mixed up in this whirlpool
Я,
of
кстати,
a
на
mess
цифры
if I were you.
не дрочу. У меня, наоборот, по интересности персонажа распределяются по функциям. Поэтому я хочу себе урину.
The deceased is one of Linny's assistants named Cal. Even though he hadn't joined the troop
Она
long,
и
he
лечит,
is
и калечит.
hardworking, and everyone generally liked
И
him.
питомцев вызывает.
Assistants are usually
Вообще, я,
in
в принципе,
charge of
люблю
setting
играть
up
за
and
всяких
inspecting the props,
суммонеров,
as well as
которых
assisting with the
в
show
Геншине
and
до
keeping
этого
the
было
crowd
не очень
engaged.
так много, и они были
As
скучные.
you probably saw when you
У
were
нее
in the
питомцы хотя бы
audience,
передвигаются и
the water
думают.
tank
Ну
suddenly
как,
fell
есть
and
маленький
smashed the
искусственный
box with
интеллект у них.
Cal inside it.
Но как он вообще там оказался?
This is the real mystery. We've already searched the scene and were unable to find any traces of the girl. However, if you look carefully, the box was positioned directly under the water tank. The ropes holding the tank were then burned by the pyrotechnics on stage, causing them to snap. All these factors lining up so perfectly makes it hard to see this as a mere accident. If anything, the more logical explanation is that the whole incident was intentionally planned, and Linny is the most likely person to have access to all these areas.
Какой ты логичный чувак, прям капец.
Motive.
Are you both good friends of his?
Well, you can't say we're good friends, but we've known each other for a little while.
So in just a short time, he was not only able to win your trust, but even convince you to act as his attorneys. I know there's no such thing as magic. The real trick of a magician is holding the audience in the palm of their hand. I've seen a lot of cases, and I can tell you that people are the least
Да, люди
reliable
бывают
kind of
надежнее,
evidence.
чем что-либо ни было.
Sorry, I
Нет, я
tend
с
to
этим не
be pretty
согласен.
straightforward. Just know that I'm warning you for your own good. Anyway, you may
Сеньора не могу
investigate the scene of
пройти,
the crime
когда она
yourselves
меня
if you're
вызывает на
curious. Who
дворцовую
knows, maybe you'll be able to come
дворцовую
up with some
дуэль.
new evidence.
По сюжету не успел ранг приключений прокачаться, и сейчас она на... Там же... Там можно снизить ранг. Ух, фига себе, настоящее расследование, твою мать. Божечки, он даже на фотографии уставший чел, он хочет сдохнуть. Информация о погибшем. Погибшего звали Коуэлл. Хрен поговоришь. Он был ассистентом линии и пользовался большим доверием труппы. И стал трупом в итоге. В его обязанности входила установка и проверка реквизита, а также может быть, он самовыпилился? А также взаимодействие с артистами на сцене для поддержания нужного настроения в зрительском зале. Опа, вот дали гемы.
The investigation team has some new findings. Turns out there's an issue with the random number selector after all.
See, I told you. What if the machine picked some big guy's seat? You think the murderer would have still made his move then?
Sorry to interrupt, but we're helping Linny and Lynette with their side of the investigation. What were you saying about the number selector? There's something wrong with it?
You're trying to help them? That'll be a tall order.
Linny used the machine to pick a random member of the audience during his performance, right? The lucky girl that later disappeared. Well, we thought there might be a serious problem.
It turns out that the seat number it picked wasn't random at all. The machine picks that same number every time. I'm sure you already know that you have to make a reservation in advance to get a seat, regardless of whether it's a trial or some performance. In other words, Linny knew who would be sitting where from the very beginning.
That much checks out. Linny reserved our seats for us too.
Bet you see why I was saying it'd be tough to make a case for Linny.
Спасибо. Извините, что побеспокоил вас.
Even though it's bad for Linny's case, Paimon had better write it down.
Генератор случайных чисел. Устройство, использовавшееся для выбора счастливчиков из числа зрителей в магическом шоу «Линия». Только после того, как жандармы провели расследование, выяснилось, что машина постоянно выдает одни и те же результаты. Очевидно, кто-то изменил ее настройки в недобрых целях. Так если люди постоянно ходят на шоу, они же поймут, что там одинаковые числа показываются, не? О, красиво. Когда мне дадут крутку. Так. В смысле, мне еще туда надо? Понял. Да господи. Нельзя забираться, круто. Ну.
So this is the rope that broke and caused the water tank to fall. The rope looks pretty durable. How can it be burned through so quickly by fireworks?
Лени не уделил должного внимания безопасности.
Why are you suddenly so serious, traveler?
Просто смотрю на место обрыва веревки.
Look! This bit is made from different material! Most of it was burned away, but there's still a little bit of it left.
Кажется, это что-то, что хорошо горит. Логично, логично. Преступление открыто. Особая веревка. Веревка для подвешивания резервуара с водой. Внезапно оборвалась, когда на сцене запускали фейерверк. Расследование показало, что в месте обрыва веревка была изготовлена из легко воспламеняющегося материала. Угу. 3 улики. Так я нажал. Почему? Почему они... Не увеличиваются, ну, в смысле, не засчитываются. Ну, я в зоне действия. Ну. Ну. Глюк какой-то, может быть.
Hey, you! Yes, both of you! Over here! I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now.
А ты кто?
Huh?
Чё за банда?
You mean us? That's right. If I'm not mistaken, you're also among those who wish to cut down the thorns and pursue the truth. No? And by the looks of it, you're not from Fontaine. Well, you're right on the mark about that one, but who are you? Have you never heard of the Spina di Rosula? From mediating disputes and providing protection to solving conundrums, you name it, Spina di Rosula does it. And I, Navia, have the honor of being its renowned president. Though those who play by our rules call me boss.
I'm Silver, her attendant. Pleased to meet you.
And I'm Melus. Demoiselle's various daily needs and affairs are under my purview.
Huh? Boss? Demoiselle? What gives with the names? Well, I am the second generation president. Melus and the others are still used to my previous title.
My apologies, Demoiselle. Should you prefer, boss, I will endeavor to use that instead.
No, no need. You don't have to call me boss. Just Navia is fine. Okay, if you say so. Not that we're members of Spina di Rosula anyway. All merely trifling details. Never
Так ты
mind.
тоже хочешь провести
Back to the
расследование?
situation at hand. That's right. I've always kept an eye on the serial disappearance cases. My interest stems from a matter back from my father's time. Judging from the look of things, I find Linny an unlikely mastermind. Really? We think so too! That's why we're looking for clues now. But how did you come to that conclusion? Intuition, naturally. My unparalleled
Серьезно?
intuition.
Ну это тупо.
Farina sure was quick to point the finger at Linny without any decisive evidence whatsoever, wasn't she? But that's not uncommon for her. If you remember, the justice had to interrupt her and ask if she was pressing charges just to keep her from getting carried away. Anyway, a trial begins the moment someone levels charges. And, of course, there was no way Farina was going to back down in that situation. Sounds more like you just don't trust the Hydro Archon. Well, what's your opinion? I must admit that she can be interesting at times, but liking her doesn't mean that
Ну,
I'll
если
blindly
так это
agree with her.
выразить.
All right, I've answered your question. Now, it's time you answer mine. Wait a minute, did that answer count? Well, I say it does. But don't worry, you won't hear any pointless questions from me. In your opinion, do you think it's right to treat a trial like it's an opera? Well,
Не всегда.
And why would that be?
Суд — это серьезное дело, а не развлечение.
See, Silver and Maloose? I told you they'd be different.
Most astute of you, demoiselle. I too think that the traveler's response was most excellent. No matter how wonderful the script or how fervent the audience's expectations may be, the trials that go on stage here must be based in fact. And if that can be done, boss, then...
All right, that's quite enough, Maloose. Anyway, I like your answer.
Examen.
You passed with flying colors. Now, I need to make some preparations, following which our joint investigation shall commence. You two shall be my assistants.
Wait! Since when did we become assistants?
Oh, well, I can be the assistant. Sure. Or your companion, if you like. I'm really not that fussy.
That's more like it.
Ты кое-что упустила, Паймон.
Far be it from me to brag, but I believe that Demoiselle's intuition will be instrumental in uncovering the truth. You wish to save a friend from false accusations, and we wish to unravel the disappearances. In this sense, our goals are aligned.
You have a point. Huh. You're quite the talker, aren't you, mister? And what about you over there? What do you think? You seem like you've got something on your mind.
I have nothing to add.
Oh, alrighty then.
We'll be making some preparations first. Just be sure to let us know if they start revealing Linny's tricks. Thanks!
Я забыл про эту кнопку.
Sorry, but no one can freely enter or
Пойду поесть,
exit the
возьму,
opera house
простите.
at the moment.
Перед работой
If you
поем.
wish to leave, you must register your identity with us first.
No, we're not leaving. We're representing Linny and Lynette as attorneys, so we're investigating the case. Were you always guarding this entrance?
Yes, after the Chief Justice gave the order, everyone coming in or out must undergo a strict inspection. So, the missing girl couldn't have left from here. At least, not from that point on.
Ой, кушать капец холодно стало. А во время спектакля?
I doubt there was much opportunity then either.
How can you be so sure,
Well, because I was in charge of security near the entrance at that time. I couldn't see Linny's performance from here, which was quite a shame. Just my luck. But still, I did not abandon my post, and I stayed put no matter how loud the applause was. If someone had so much as even approached
Красивые, да,
the
эти
door,
существа или
I
кто-то
would have
кошаки, не
noticed
знаю.
it, let alone if they had
Кассандры.
tried to leave. We Melusines are good at that sort of thing, you know.
So, it's safe to say the girl couldn't have left through here. Alright, thank you for your help. This'll be useful info.
Понятно. Мне, наверное, улику не засчитали, потому что Ерку не нажал. О, внизу. Ну, нажимай.
Linny's still talking to the guards. It seems he'll have a lot of explaining to do. I think someone will be assigned to monitor us later, but that's alright.
Прикол. Да блин.
I see that you're investigating the area. Well, it just so happens that I'm interested too. If you find any new and interesting leads, be sure to share them with me, all right?
We don't have too many thoughts yet.
Then why don't I tell you my hypothesis first? The way I see it. And I'll start it with that loud thud.
The thud? Oh, you mean the sound that happened during the countdown?
Yes, exactly. It wasn't terribly loud, but I suspect that most people heard it. It's just that everyone was awaiting the results of Linny's trick with bated breath, so no one paid it much mind. But now that the incident has happened, the thud has become an important clue.
That makes sense. So, what do you make of it?
I'm of the opinion that it may have been the sound of Linny's accomplice. Lynette, perhaps. Jumping atop the water tank, or something like that. And when the pyrotechnics went off, she cut the rope, sending the water tank crashing down.
But wasn't the noise we heard too loud for that?
Perhaps the balance wasn't right, leading to a particularly rough landing. Oh, that's true. I suppose I must reconsider.
That does remind Paimon, though. What was with that sound?
Две улики. Там что появится? Да блин, нельзя сбираться. Почему? Смотри, а я сам нашел. Какой умный.
Hello there. What are you investigating?
Oh, this location has also been cordoned off because the Magic Troop members are currently considered prime suspects. The investigation team is still collecting evidence. The seats were all booked in advance, so we were able to deduce the missing woman's identity by checking the guest list.
Так. Можете сказать, кто это? А, острые чипсы-нори, какие острые. Кайф, обожаю острые, ну что-то прям химичили.
Her name is Halsey. She's a painter from Fontaine who's made a bit of a name for herself.
Художница?
Apparently, she wasn't a regular at the Opera House, but she'd been feeling some pressure with her work lately, which made her decide to come see the magic show. The Magic Troop members all claim not to know her, and we have looked into her social connections. It seems that she has no personal grievances or conflicts of interest with the suspects. Simply put, she wasn't related to the Magic Troop at all, which matches the features of the previous serial disappearances.
Were the victims of previous cases also chosen at random?
That's how it seems to us, in any case. Apart from the fact that they were all young women of around the same age range, there really weren't any other connections between them.
Okay then.
Спасибо, что во всем рассказал. О, бля.
No need to be so formal. If you do happen to see the missing girl, please be sure to contact us.
Кайф. Ой, какой кайф.
It is of utmost importance that we get to the bottom of these
Крайне
disappearances.
важно докопаться до сути исчезновений.
We've checked everything of note here at the performance venue.
Узнаете? А, я все нашел.
Wonders how Linny's
Какой я
discussion with the
молодец.
guards is going.
Сам себя в шоке.
Shall we? Ooh, things are getting
Надо даже
interesting,
персонаж
huh?
братом превратился.
Understood. Then I will be going with you. Just so you're aware, I will be monitoring your actions and making notes as necessary.
Very good.
Жундарм.
Thanks for being so agreeable. I'd pull a rose out of my hat as a gift for you if I could.
You may spare the pleasantries. I'm just doing my job.
Я просто выполняю свою
We've
работу.
arrived. Who's this?
Me? I'm Spina di Rosula's guardian angel. If you've got a problem, I've got the firepower.
А,
Sorry, I got a little carried away there.
Навия, значит.
Call me Navia.
Как Нави
I'm
из
a
этих
partner of theirs, and we'll be
аватаров.
helping investigate this whole situation. And these are my companions. Would you mind if they join as well?
Fine by me.
Oh, new helpers? I would be most grateful.
Well, let's just say we're tagging along. It's not every day you get to see the secrets behind magic performed on such a large scale.
I appreciate your kind interest. Come with me. We'll be heading below stage.
Huh? Below stage?
Yes, a world of secrets is hidden beneath this magic box, prepared specifically for this switcheroo trick. But before I reveal everything, you should have a look first. Notice anything strange here?
Там, наверное, место под полом, да, есть. Люк. Какой-нибудь. Скорее всего.
I'm not trying to be dramatic. Remembering the details of a trick will help you understand the methods used to perform it more easily.
Короче, фокусник сливает фокус.
Weren't there balloons and other decorations here? Where did all that go?
Ah, good eye. That said, you're still far from discovering the answer.
The back? You mean the inside of the door? What's different about it? Paimon didn't notice anything.
Не заметила, да?
Very good indeed. I thought you might not be able to catch that, given that you were sitting in the first row. The back of this door was patterned. Those patterns are now gone, replaced by a smooth wooden board.
Это лифт.
So, if you put two and two together, what do you get?
Да, внутри ящика расположен еще один ящик.
Exactly. All right, let's go. I'll tell you how it works as we head down.
Oh, so there was a
Ну, я же
passageway
сказал,
under the
лифт.
magic box.
И он соединял ящики между собой.
I knew you'd figure out most of it as soon as you saw this place. The two magic boxes are positioned right above the two entrances of the tunnel. See this flatbed trolley?
Ну, короче, все уже понятно.
The box with the lucky audience member in it would be shuttled over to the other
Мне
side
кажется, от
using
этого и
the
был
trolley.
стук.
This trolley can raise and lower and even rotate, ensuring that the box will face in the right direction.
I see. So that's the purpose
Классные
of
ляжки,
the
да?
box inside another box.
Precisely. The inner box would descend after the audience member was put inside and be moved along the trolley, all while the outer box would remain on stage as if nothing had ever changed.
So that's how you did it!
Так вот, как это работает.
Once the box was lowered, the trolley would store some energy through this device here, with which it would complete the rest of the steps. The audience member would only be able to feel some slight movements in the dark, and
ты в
by
это
the
время
time she
чем
walked
занят,
out,
ублюдок?
she would already be back on stage.
Right! You were talking that whole time, and you even came out for a moment near the end!
Ah, yes. A phonograph operated by Lynette was used to achieve that effect. My assistant and I had already scripted our conversation beforehand. When the countdown began, I had already gone to the opposite box via a tunnel using that ladder.
And what about Lynette? Where was she?
I was in the mezzanine space in the back of the box.
Oh, interesting!
That's how we were able to coordinate Linny's lines with the assistant. And, by the way, I was the one who walked out of the box at the end.
I mean, we are twins. All it takes is a change of clothes and no one can tell who's who. And that's my favorite part of this trick. Only Lynette and I can perform it.
So that's how it all worked.
Вы здорово все придумали.
Every detail you revealed was more amazing than the last.
Lynette would briefly walk out of the box and then go back in, jumping into the tunnel and escaping before the box on the trolley could finish ascending. And then I walk out of the other box in the audience area, and the trick would be complete. The operative word here being would. But as you saw, Cal was in the box, not our audience member. She, on the other hand, mysteriously vanished.
Мне кажется, сам Коул все задумал.
I don't know how that happened.
If not for that interlude, this would have been an astonishing trick. I probably never would have figured out how you pulled it off. And yet, to think that someone was able to use this magic trick to commit a crime. Could we have a look around? I think we can come up with some more leads.
This is the scene of the crime, so Linny and Lynette are not permitted to stay here. I'll escort them back up.
Yes, of course. No need to be so strict now. I won't disappear into thin air, you know.
Thanks, everyone. We're counting on you.
Мы все поняли. Угу. Дихра. Угу.
The floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why?
Ключ для фокуса.
Oh, Paimon knows. It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear. And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Let's note this down too and think about it later. Looks like a hook tied to the end of a rope. Huh?
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it is, let's make a note of it first.
Угу. Да. Мы исследуем то, что и так знаем. Зашибись. Молодцы. То, что нам уже рассказали, это мы исследуем.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're...
О, новые очки.
This is so confusing.
Угу. Ну, одежда девушки, что-то новое. Все? Ну. А, еще одна. Нет, еще много. Это место отхода.
It seems someone could fit.
Вентиляционный люк.
Huh. Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Все возможно, но точно муж
Alone,
нет.
perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
But there are no other ways in or out of here. Oh, you're right. Let Paimon write that down.
Угу. Вентиляционный ход.
Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes. Let's head back up.
Такая длинная глава, прям капец. Первая глава.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns.
Что-то не
Seems to
сходится.
me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and no one was found hiding there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges are very likely to be upheld unless we make some considerable progress.
Вот такая вот странная эта девчонка.
Trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice
И
and the
Оратис
oratrice
тоже.
will hear... That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced. The statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the oratrice. To put it simply, it's as if the oratrice has its own will, and is a judge in its own right.
This also precludes any kind of favoritism on the part of the Chief Justice. Not that
Невероятно.
this has ever happened anyway.
Once both sides have finished speaking, the Chief Justice will make his final decision. This, too, will be used by the oratrice as a reference. Then, finally, the oratrice will be consulted by officials. The result it returns is the will of justice itself.
Huh? So that machine is the one that actually decides? Paimon thought Novelet called the shots.
In practice, there is very little difference. Both have always come to the same judgment, which is why people have great faith in the Chief Justice. Ah, yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties, or that we might find outside help to disrupt the case. And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Whoa, whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point. That said, are they providing food?
Of course. I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all. thing. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs, sugar, and almonds at the ready.
Good work, you two. Then I'll get to it. Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group. And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the oven. Oh, it's even better now. Paimon can't stop drooling. From the way you had these two guys carrying all that stuff around,
Вообще, это длинная глава или нет, а?
do more during the baking process. But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
Paimon was just thinking. Aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty, beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks. Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack. Anyway, give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
Only 3?
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head. You wouldn't be able to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong black tea with a floral fragrance that
А
clears
может,
the mind and
отдохнешь с
lifts
нами?
the spirit. No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
Эти пирожные, говорит, всего 3, но они большие такие.
Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh. Could Halsey have secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing.
Извиняюсь.
They smell great. They're nice and crisp and super sweet.
Это были макароны.
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest.
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough. Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach!
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Malus, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Извиняюсь, блин, задолбался болеть.
Well, this really is your hobby, huh?
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area. I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the 2 of you think the case over again. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
All right, thanks for your help and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
All right, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense straight.
Сколько можно ждать? Ждать сюда, ждать туда. Примите участие в суде. Тут не было раньше фотки. Наверное, потому что я играл за ГГ. У меня есть мюсли. Плохо.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well,
Ну, короче, пойдем.
Best of luck to you.
Пошли уже.
Ah, finally, you're back. Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well now, don't you all look disappointed. Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed. That was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence. But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most...
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session. Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney
Он что,
explain
опять
the trick?
объяснять начнет?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
Какая-то она бешеная.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
А? Чё?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box, and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself. You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also... Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock.
No.
Tell me, aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
The House of the Hearth?
Это третий. У них был третий чел. Это он все сделал.
No wonder they did something like this.
So the serial disappearances were the Fatsui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy. Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true? Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the
Веселая-
sentencing already.
Веселая зрительница. Ваша честь, прошу слова.
Granted. In that case, what is your request?
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant deceived their own attorneys. What is there left to discuss?
Order! Order, I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought. In that case, my dear audience, let's allow the joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the
О,
Hydro
спалился,
would
чувак,
dig all that
спалился.
up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
А палево было еще в трейлерах нового сезона.
Yeah, sorry.
Вернее, нового региона.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys. Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad!
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Fatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending
Ну,
more
вдруг
effort
сейчас
than
вы
we need
снова
to.
нас обманываете, облядки.
Right. So, you be the
Как
judge.
говорил этот пацан,
Heck, if I
колготка,
were
значит,
you,
он
I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me
обманывает.
at this point. You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Well, you both say that, but... Right, let's hear your answer first, and no lies now!
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, there you have it. The whole truth. I
Опять
swear, I
стелет,
didn't
наверное.
hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler, you decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
Вариантов других нету. Один ответ. Зашибись. Ну-ка.
Okay, thank you.
В принципе,
Thanks
два
for giving
ответа
us a
одинаковых.
chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously... Huh? Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Какая длинная голова, это кобзда.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial. When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective. Countdown began. He entered. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which he did not realize that the sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed. Finally, he used the vase to knock her out before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her.
Снял с нее одежду.
At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him afterward. Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands before operating. And there you have it.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina?
The key to refuting
Вот
Lady
таимся.
Farina is the order of events. Seems this won't...
Так. Да блин. Твою мать. Платье реально? А, понял. Твою мать. Наверное, так. Ага.
According to Linney,
Да твою мать. Звук. Это работает. Подожди. Это очень тупо
Lenny went to
работает.
the room. Lenny did not.
Три мы изменили.
Ace Detective Paimon has something to say.
Правда, больше методом тыка, ну ладно.
When the countdown started, Lenny did, but he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been the crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again. Finally, he reached the surface, and that...
Угу.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to save...
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the
That's right!
My reasoning?
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Lenny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to
Well, your denial is very strident. I'll give you that. Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Чё?
Are you sure we don't need to give this more thought? That's right! Lenny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Lenny had already entered the basement
Палево,
via
большое
the
палево.
vent. The same clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played. To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Lenny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Угу.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was in...
Oh, is that so? How
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowell did, and how he went from wood... The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. No one entered or left the opera house. The sound we heard may have come from a... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cow. Linny was not in the tunnel at... No one entered or left. It would have been tough for both people. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cap. No one entered or left.
Да, блядь. Подожди.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that... No one entered or left. Halsey's clothing was in...
Где остальные улики?
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring?
I
see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had...
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not? Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been...
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real life...
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell. Linny's... The vase was not broken by chance.
Ладно.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey... Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound. How could a person ever be transformed into water? Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the folk. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at...
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at guards, please step into the lounge and examine the person.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water from the primordial sea. The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an account. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine, It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by...
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water? Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but...
Huh. If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two...
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that.
The deceased's name is Cowell. Now it seems like the hook...
Вода.
The water from the
Я скажу тебе,
primordial...
да.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else within the
Ahem! It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shut. In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial seed inside it would pour down. Afterward, Cowell would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel and wound up being fatally hit by the same...
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more...
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now.
Now, it seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the...
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they are... I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in... And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see. Well, how wonderfully does this not clear all... My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present... Linny did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman, having made modifications to the props beforehand. But upon his return, and ultimately, he knocked Cowell out, and the tool meant now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straight... Am I right?
We've used up all the evidence we collected. Is this the end of the rope?
Oh no! Paimon can't think... Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move.
I think we've all seen enough now. And we have ample witness. I believe this is indeed the finale. Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we...
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout. and
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes.
What in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again? And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rasu. But as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila.
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So, the whole thing about people dissolving...
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry.
What? Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so that's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there. And I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away.
Hey! No wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief! Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure. So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
But I swear, I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box.
Либо хотя бы первую главу покороче сделать, а все вот это запихнуть в вторую,
That makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lily-Ann's perspective.
Зашибись. Я уже спешу,
The strange
капец.
sound wasn't from a fight.
Капец, как спешу. О,
The
получилось,
flower
да.
vase. Lily-Ann was...
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time! Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian, her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover he did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time, the two broke the flower vase during the struggle. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes. She knew that she would have...
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So...
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request...
What? Are you reading my mind now? No. I have no further arguments. I admit defeat.
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian, thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the... From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Первая глава всех не заканчивается. Я все это интересно очень, но надо
While
иметь
there is much in
совесть
Linny and
разработчика.
Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case at least can be handed over to the oratories to make the final decision.
Ух ты, энергия пошла.
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dared to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to
Speak quickly! Unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best—
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-up. Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience— We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent mora off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about.
and now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
So, we're just going back now? That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon! Please wait.
Lenny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui. I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight.
Задолбал объяснять, честное слово.
I didn't
Ездобол.
approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
That's right. And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care. And they have their ways of... I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans. Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of...
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Tsaritsa to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the Knave, has their roots in Fontaine. And we will always defend our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets...
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me.
Окей, хорошо. Передайте мне грудку, пожалуйста.
Bye, Linny!
Что, еще не закончилось ничего?
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting... Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now.
Ah. I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the... sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful. In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make...
All right then, let's have our farewell meal!
Серьезно, конец, я офигеть. 30 гемов. Что? Где? Погоди. А, вот. Вкусно? Мочу свой пить. Три гема до крутки не хватает, слышишь? Пойдем какой-нибудь сундук откроем. По-быстрому. 3 гема. До крутки. 3 гема до крутки. Вон там сундук. Какой сундук? Обычный, зашибись. Нужно 2 таких. Ключу.
Illusion shattered.
Be still. Mind the deluge.
Тихо.
Yes.
Yes, very nice. Иди. Я понял. Дали 1 гем.
There is no escape. Let's leave her a little.
Ошибись. То, что доктор прописал. Так. Ну, только 2 попытки. Походу будут сратые. Одну попытку уже всрал. Ну, мне походу ждать 90 крутки надо, понятно все с вами. Да. Подожди. Что 16, да? Блин, уже скоро выпасть должно. Что за фигня? Ладно, ребят, давайте на этом закончим, потом продолжим. А пока подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, пишите комментарии и, как в народе говорится, всем пока. Кто хочет поддержать канал, ссылка на донаты в описании. Да и лайки я тоже приветствую. Ладно, ребята, давайте до следующего раза.